If you've ever said my metabolism is broken or nothing works for me anymore when it comes to weight loss, then this video is literally going to change everything for you. I'm about to give you my complete guide, my complete picture on why your metabolism has slowed down and what's actually happening to your body and the exact system that you can do to help repair and help reset it. No guessing, no piecing random tips together off the internet. You're literally getting this full guide in the next 20-minute video. You're going to understand your body better than you've ever have before, because the problem is you've been trying to for years. You've diets, workouts, cleanses, all the 21-day challenges, but nothing sticks because that weight comes back every time your body feels like you're honestly fighting itself. And there comes a lot of exhaustion and frustration when that happens. But what's happening is we're not actually getting to the root cause of why your body is holding on to weight or you're lacking energy in the first place. And that's what this video is going to give you. Hi, my name is Kylene. I am a personal trainer and a nutrition coach, and I have been for over 14 years. I've helped hundreds of moms lose weight without diets or burnouts because they really start to address the underlying reason of why they're holding on to weight in the first place. And after I went through this myself after having kids, this isn't just theory anymore. It's the exact framework that works for me, and it's worked for hundreds of other moms. I'm going to break it down into 3 specific parts. First, why your metabolism is slowed down in the first place. Second, what's happening hormonally that's keeping you stuck. And third, the complete system to reset everything. By the end, you'll have a clear roadmap, no longer having to piece it together of multiple sources on the internet. So first and foremost, why your metabolism has slowed down. And really the case in point is your body isn't the same as it was before kids. So in your 20s, your body was fundamentally different than it is now over your 30s. So the metabolism that you had before kids is actually gone, but that doesn't mean you're broken. That doesn't mean your metabolism is broken. In our 20s, our hormones were optimized. They were primed for reproduction. Your metabolism ran hot because biologically, that's what your body needed. And you might be able to see this too in like your hangovers. Like I could handle like a full bottle of red wine in my 20s and feel fine and probably work a double shift the next day. Well, now I can barely even have a glass and I'm like sweating all night because it's too much. My body is way more sensitive now. Because after pregnancy, what really happens is, and after years of stress and after broken sleep, constantly pouring into others, your body's adapted. That's all it's done. It's just shifted into conservation mode. This isn't damage. It's not irreparable damage, that's for sure. Your body is just doing exactly what it's designed to do, and that's protect you during demanding seasons. The last problem is that season lasted years, and your body never got the signal that it's safe to come out of protection mode. And maybe your actions never actually showed it that it could. And here's what nobody tells you. I see this with moms who come to see me all the time. They're doing what worked in their 20s and wondering why it doesn't work anymore, like cutting calories, adding more cardio, and just trying harder, pushing harder on an already taxed out system. But their body has fundamentally changed. The rules are different now. And until they accept that, they keep spinning in the same frustrating cycle. I actually had a client who came to me doing dairy-free, gluten-free, keto, intermittent fasting, all these things. She actually gained 9 pounds in 8 weeks. That is a serious cry for help from your body, but it wasn't her fault. She was trying. And I actually just had a call with her. We changed her metabolism. We repaired her metabolism. She's lost inches, and she went to the zoo with her kids and she ran circles around them. And she said previously that kind of day would actually have her sleeping for 2 days after. So I want you to think of your metabolism like a thermostat, okay? In your 20s, it was set high. You burned fuel easily. You switched easily from fat to carbs, all that. But now it's been turned down to conserve energy. You can't just crank up the heat by eating less. That actually turns the thermostat down because your system is already taxed. You have to reprogram the entire system, which is what I'm going to show you in this video, okay? The first step is accepting that your body has changed. And this can be hard because you have had so many wins, so many, but I lost weight with macro tracking, but I lost weight with calorie counting, but I lost weight with adding more treadmill sessions, but I lost weight with skipping meals. You have to flip that belief pattern. You have to break that pattern because your body is different now. So it requires different approach. You go back to the approaches like your 20s, you're going to be met with frustration. You're going to be met with exhaustion. And you're not going to get the results that you're wanting to see, because the moms who go back to those, they're not failing because they're lazy. They're failing because they don't match where their body is now. And that's what I need you to do. But that metabolic shift, to be honest, wasn't just about age. There's actually something more specific going on. And what's happened is chronic dieting has actually lowered your basal metabolic rate. Every diet you've done has made your metabolism slower. It's lowered that basal metabolic rate. And in a society, in a culture that is filled with highly palatable foods that are filled with fat, sugar, and salt, it can be really hard to maintain a lean physique when your basal metabolic rate is low. We need that as high as we can so that we can have a wine nights with our girlfriends. We can do pizza night with our kids. We can do ice cream with our kid, and it not affect our waistline or our energy. Because what happens when you drastically cut calories, your body thinks there's a famine. Our body doesn't give a shit about our aesthetic goals, okay? It cares about protecting us and keeping us alive. So it does what any smart survival machine would do. It slows down your metabolism to conserve energy. It holds onto fat because fat is emergency fuel. And it actually starts to break down your muscle because it's such a highly metabolic tissue. It burns too many calories at rest. So it's going to get rid of that because it's literally going to just burn up the fuel, and your basal metabolic rate is already down, right? And that's your energy tank. So that's why you can eat less and still be gaining weight. Your body has been trained to survive on less, so it's just surviving on less. Every crash diet dug the hole a little deeper. This is what diet culture doesn't want you to know. The average woman goes on 8 diets per year. Each one signals to her body that food is scarce. Each one lowers her metabolic rate. And by the time she hits her 30s and 40s, her metabolism is absolutely crawling. So it's not this like immediate shift that happened with your metabolism. It's actually just years of us signaling to our body that our metabolism is lowering, that we need less, that we don't need that much to survive off of. So women in their 30s and 40s are eating 1,200 calories, but they're gaining weight because their body has just adapted to that input as their new normal. Dieting is like turning down the heat in your house to save money. It works temporarily, but eventually you're freaking freezing. And turning the heat back up takes way more energy than it should. Your metabolism works the same way. You've turned it down so many times, it doesn't even know how to run hot anymore. So stop looking for the next quick fix. I need you to hear me on that. Every juice cleanse, every detox, every 21-day reset is lowering your metabolic baseline further. The goal is not to eat less. It's to rebuild your metabolism so that it burns more. But here's an even bigger factor at play, and one that controls everything that I see in moms over 30 is that cortisol is running the show. High cortisol is the master switch that keeps your body in fat storage mode. It keeps it in that sugar burning mode because cortisol really just cares about you fleeing that threat. And to flee that threat, it needs quick energy. So it wants sugar. And if we're stuck in sugar burning mode, well, then we're never going to tap into our fat stores for energy. So when it stays elevated, you're literally in survival mode all the time. Okay. And a lot of that extra fuel that it needs, that fat storage, it gets stored on our midline. This is why we can look like we're in our first or second trimester out of nowhere. It's why that weight gain, like in my client I just mentioned, that's why that weight gain just like perpetually like continues. So today, we're not really like fleeing a threat right now, like a tiger or a bear. But today, stress means deadlines, tantrums, maybe financial pressure, or the pressure that moms are just never doing enough and they always have to be doing more. The never-ending to-do list. Your body doesn't know the difference. Could be pings on your watches. You know how many times I tell moms to just take this freaking thing off? Because it's all those little things and your body doesn't know the difference. It's literally just keeps pumping cortisol. And as long as cortisol stays elevated, fat loss will biologically become impossible. And here's the part that will have to make you literally scream. Moms are told to cut calories, exercise more, but cutting calories can spike cortisol even more. Intense exercise spikes cortisol. Sleep deprivation spikes cortisol. The very thing you're doing to lose weight are telling your body to hold on to fat even tighter. You're caught in a trap that no one really explained to you, and your body is just a lot more sensitive now over 30, especially with your metabolic rate becoming so much lower. So think of cortisol as like the security guard, almost standing in front of your fat cells. And when cortisol is high, the guard has strict orders. Nothing leaves. You can pound on the door all you want. Those fat cells are staying locked until you lower your cortisol. The guard won't budge. So before you focus on eating less, I need you to focus on stressing less. I know. I'm not really talking about in the sense of like meditating or yoga. Those are really great. And not in a really like vague, relax more way, but in a strategic biological way. Lower your cortisol first, and then fat loss becomes possible. Cortisol doesn't work alone. There's another hormone that can be keeping you stuck. So that kind of brings me into part 2 on what's happening hormonally for you, your metabolism, and how it's changed over 30. Blood sugar instability is likely sabotaging a lot of your weight loss goals. When blood sugar is on a roller coaster, fat loss is impossible and cravings are inevitable. Your body has 2 main fuel sources, and I kind of chatted about this. We have sugar and we have fat. Sugar can be in the form of stored sugar like glycogen, or quick accessible sugar like glucose that you might get from like eating a granola bar or a banana. When your blood sugar is constantly spiking and crashing, your body stays locked in sugar burning mode. It never switches to fat burning mode because it's too busy managing all those spikes, all that chaos. Every spike triggers insulin and every crash triggers cortisol. By the end of the day, you've been running in fat storage mode for almost 12 hours straight and still not losing weight. Your blood sugar is running the show behind the scene. And this is what changes everything though. Almost every mom who comes to me with these symptoms, crashing at 2 p.m., living on coffee, skipping breakfast, feeling fine during the day, but then ravenous after the kids go to bed. They think it's a willpower issue. Like, oh, if I just tried harder, I would be able to move past it. But that's actually their body screaming for fuel because it's been on a roller coaster all day. So the signs of blood sugar instability are afternoon crashes, mood swings, brain fog, intense cravings, especially at night. So if you have any of these, blood sugar is your first priority. Stabilize that and everything downstream gets a lot easier. But even with stable blood sugar, there's still the muscle problem. But quick pause before we move. If you're enjoying these videos, I post them every week, breaking down exactly what moms can do to lose weight without diets or burnout. Just hit the subscribe button down below. Okay, let's keep going. Muscle loss is tanking your metabolism. And without muscle, your metabolism has no energy and cardio won't build it. Muscle is such a metabolically active tissue. It is the tissue we want to survive in a society like we do with highly palatable foods. Every pound of muscle burns calories around the clock, and it actually burns twice the amount of calories around the clock. So even while you're sleeping, you're burning calories. After 30, we lose 3 to 8% of our muscle mass every decade. And if you've been dieting or doing cardio without strength training, that loss accelerates. So here's the math. Less muscle equals a slower metabolism. It's simple as that. A slower metabolism equals faster fat gain. Easier fat gain equals more frustration with you. It's a downward spiral that only strength training can reverse. So here's when no one tells you about those cardio classes too. Orange Theory, F45, spin classes. They burn calories for sure. Your watch is going to tell you that you burnt a bunch of calories, which is fine for in the moment, but it doesn't build muscle. The weights aren't significantly heavy enough to challenge you. The recovery isn't long enough to give your muscles a chance to build. You're getting a cardio workout in with kind of resistance training sprinkled in. You want to flip that if you're on a weight loss journey. You want to have resistance training with a sprinkle of cardio. So think of muscle as your metabolic engine. Cardio is like pushing a car downhill. You'll move, but it takes constant effort. Strength training is like upgrading to a bigger engine, and now you're burning fuel efficiently, automatically all day long. So if you're not currently strength training, I need you to add this in. Okay, it doesn't take long. It's literally 3 sessions, 20 minutes each session. Moms in my program literally are always like, oh gosh, this girl's only having us do 20 minutes of strength training. And then they watch their body transform because we are building that metabolic engine. And most importantly, you're staying consistent. So 3 20-minute sessions a week help you stay consistent while you're managing work, while you're managing the kids, while you're managing your life, because I know you're busy. I'm freaking busy too. So which takes me into part 3. This is the complete system to reset your metabolism. I'm literally giving this all away right now. The first week is balance. Balance, balance, balance. This is so important. What we're going to do in this one is we're going to lower your cortisol. We are going to stabilize your hormones, and you are going to get your energy back. Because before you can lose fat, you have to get your body out of survival mode. We cannot pour from an already empty cup. We cannot ask more of an already taxed out system. And this is where most people actually skip ahead and fail. They jump directly into the aggressive dieting, into the intense exercise, when their body is already stuck in this protection mode. Phase 1 is about creating safety. We stabilize your blood sugar by prioritizing protein at every meal, especially breakfast. We lower your cortisol by removing overly intense exercise and prioritizing recovery. And we start building muscle with moderate strength training. We support sleep and nervous system regulation. The goal isn't aggressive fat loss yet. This is super important on an already taxed out system. The goal is to get your metabolism flexible again, where you can tap into those fat stores easily. Here's what happens in this phase. Clients in this phase really start to notice body composition changes. Inches are being lost. Energy is stabilizing, and that 2 p.m. crash totally disappears. Cravings reduce, so you're not raiding the pantry after the kids go to sleep, and your sleep really starts to improve. You'll see a difference in inflammation. Your bloating goes down. Your face feels less puffy. These are signs that your metabolism is waking up. These are really, really good signs. And the body is coming out of protection mode. That's what happens, and fat loss becomes possible. Think of phase 1 like warming your car up in the cold winter. You don't just slam on the gas. You let your engine warm up. You need to recalibrate so that it runs smoothly. Your metabolism is the same. Warm it up before you ask it to perform. So in phase 1, focus on strength training sessions 3 times a week, prioritizing sleep, and reducing stress where you can. Do not slash calories. Focus on nourishing meals. Don't do intense cardio either. Just really build that foundation first. Once that foundation is set, we move into the fat loss phase, and this is the burn phase of the protocol. Now we create a gentle calorie deficit while protecting your hormones and muscle. This is where fat loss accelerates, but we do it strategically. We create a modest calorie deficit through portion awareness, not obsessive tracking. We increase strength training intensity slightly, adding more metabolic conditioning while maintaining strength work, and we continue prioritizing protein to protect muscle mass. And we teach you to trust your hunger cues so that you're eating intuitively, not robotically. The deficit is gentle enough that cortisol stays low and you have enough energy to run after your kids and do your work and all those things. And we do this consistent enough so fat loss actually happens, because fat loss isn't a quick fix thing. If you want to not only lose weight but keep it off, you need to have some patience in this game. And here's what makes this phase so different. This is where clients really start to see visible changes. We take photos, we take measurements in my program, and your clothes really start to fit differently. The scale moves, definition appears in the arms, it appears in the legs, and you're not starving. You're not exhausted. You actually just feel properly. You feel strong, and you're watching your body transform, and that can be really motivated for you to keep going. All because we built the foundation first in phase 1. And the body is ready to release fat without panicking. Phase 1 was really warming up the engine. Phase 2 is driving the car. The car is now ready. Let's go. The fuel is flowing. Now you can actually go somewhere because you're driving responsibly, not just crashing the engine. Sustainable speed that you can actually maintain. So in phase 2, you're naturally eating a little bit less because your hunger is regulated and your cravings are gone. You're not forcing a deficit. You're not ignoring your hunger cues. You're allowing your body to feel nourished and whole with whole foods and mostly fiber and protein. Training intensifies slightly, but recovery stays prioritized. This is where the 12-week transformations really start to begin. But here's what separates people from keeping the weight off and people who gain it back. This is phase 3. This is, I call, built to last. This is where we're going to not only get you results, but we're actually going to keep them, because results mean nothing if you can't keep them. Phase 3 turns your transformation into identity. Most programs end at week 12. You hit your goal, the program stops, and then you slide back to where you started. Phase 3 is about preventing that. We gradually increase calories to sustain the maintenance level, and we lock in habits that got you here so they become automatic. But this only happens if we build a program that is strategic and personalized for you and your body and the signals that it is giving. We need to build flexibility into your lifestyle so that vacations and holidays don't feel stressful. You're not derailing from them. The goal is to make this a lifestyle, not a phase. My ultimate goal for all my clients and for you listeners that are watching or listening in on the podcast is that I want weight loss to happen, but I want to see you in a couple of years and you're still crushing it because you've become someone who lives this way, not someone who's on a program or doing a cleanse or doing a challenge. This is your life. This is your body. I want you to get the results and I want you to freaking keep them. But this is what no one talks about. I check in with clients months or years after we work together, and the ones who succeed long terms are the ones who really internalize these principles, not just follow the rules. They know why they eat protein at breakfast. They know why they strength train. They have built systems that run on autopilot. They don't need willpower anymore because it's just who they are. Phase 1 and 2 are like learning how to drive, but phase 3 is like when driving becomes automatic. I'm sure you've driven somewhere and you're all of a sudden you're home and you're like, wow, I do not remember going through green lights or turning at that stop sign. That's phase 3. It's automatic. You don't think about every turn. You don't grip the wheel in fear anymore. You just drive. It's the goal, making healthy living so automatic you don't have to think about it. So don't focus on reaching the goal. Literally focus on becoming the person that maintains the goal. Ask yourself, what habits do I need to make permanent? How can I make this fun? How can I bring joy into this? What systems do I need to build to make this automatic? That's phase 3 self-thinking. But let me tie this all together into key principles that I want you walking away with, that I want you to remember. So if you remember nothing else, remember these 5 things. Principle 1, prioritize protein at every meal, starting with breakfast, not coffee, actual protein breakfast. This stabilizes your blood sugar and protects your muscle, the non-negotiable. And principle 2 is strength train 3 times per week. 20 minutes is enough. This builds the muscle that drives your metabolism. Principle 3 is prioritize sleep and stress management. Cortisol controls everything. You can't out-exercise or out-diet high cortisol. Principle 4, eat real food, mostly protein and produce. If it has a nutrition label on it, those should be kind of your sometimes food. I want you reaching for whole, nourishing food. No trucking required. Just make half your plate fiber, a portion of it protein, and a portion of it a starchy carbohydrate. Just that simple filter at every meal makes all the difference. And step 5, the most important principle, I should say, is be consistent. Not perfect. Progress comes from patterns, not perfect days. Keep showing up. Write these down. Every successful client I've had have followed these 5 principles, myself included. Not purposely, not obsessively, just consistently. They're simple enough to remember, but flexible enough that you can fit them into your everyday life. And they're powerful enough to actually transform your metabolism and your body. These 5 principles are like the legs of a table. You need all 5 for stability. Remove one and the table wobbles. Nail all 5 down, all 5 of them down, and you have a foundation that you can uphold everything. Build your metabolism up. Rate yourself on all 5 principles. Which one's your weakest? Be honest with yourself. That's where you need to focus first. Don't try and overhaul everything. Just strengthen the weakest leg first this week. Once that feels comfortable, come back. Add in another principle. But here's what I really want you to take away from all of that I've chatted about in this video is that your metabolism is not broken. It's just adapted to years of stress, dieting, and depletion. It's doing exactly what it's designed to do, and that's protect you. But now that you understand what's really happening, you know why your body has been holding on to weight. You know why your energy is crashing. You know the hormonal factors at play, and you have a complete system to reset everything. This isn't about trying harder. It's about trying differently. It's about trying a different approach and really dismantling those beliefs that the dieting tactics from your 20s are not going to work on an already taxed out system. Supporting your body instead of punishing it is the way forward. Building instead of depleting is the way forward. Working with your metabolism instead of against it is the way forward. Phase 1 is balance. Get your body out of survival mode. Phase 2 is burn. Let's create sustainable fat loss while protecting your hormones and your muscle. And phase 3 is built to last. Turn your results into your identity. You have everything you need now. It's just time to go start. If you want to see exactly what I eat in a day while following this approach, watch this video up next. I walk you through every snack, every meal, and how to make it work with family life. There are no separate diet meals here. There is no tracking here. just real food in real life. The link is on the screen. I hope to see you there.